Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blitzkrieg, our own strategic affairs show. The Army Air Defense is an arm of the Indian Army that hasn't been spoken about as much as we should have spoken about it. We need to discuss what it does. It's an extremely important function, and now with the theatre commands coming up, with a command coming up which will integrate the Army, Navy and Air Force, what is the future? We have with us Lieutenant General Dr. V.K. Saxena, former DG, Army Air Defense. He spent 40 years in this specialization, currently Distinguished Fellow, Vivekananda International Foundation. Sir, Jai Hind and a very warm welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for getting me on the show.
Sir, the first question to you that I'm going to ask today is, sir, the CDS chose the formation of ADC as the first project when he took over. Sir, what is the rationale? What is the logic about the CDS saying that no, we need to do this first? Why is this more important than the others, or why does it take the first among equal status?
Yeah, as you rightly said, the CDS having taken over on 31st December 2019, on very first day in the office, on 1st January, he announced two things. Creation of an Air Defense Command by 30th June 2020, and the second one is the Common Logistics Support Pool for military stations. Now we need to understand why first Air Defense Command. There are two important reasons for it. One is a high operational necessity, and second is doability. Let me come to high operational necessity. Now there is a basic and a fundamental thing about air defense. All air defenses are meant to counter the enemy's air threat from the adversary. What is this air threat? Air threat is the cumulative capability of our adversary to cause damage and destruction to our vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities could be national strategic assets, these could be our critical infrastructure, these could be our war-waging resources, it could be our national installations, nuclear installations, power refineries, ammunition dumps, so on and so forth, as also battle forces in the field force. Now, to counter this sort of a threat, we have capabilities on the land, we have capability in the sea, we have capability in the air. The most important thing is that all these capabilities need to be integrated into one common integrated command. Why so? Why such a requirement? There are three reasons for it. First reason is that while the air defense capability is trifurcated on land, sea and air, but when the air threat comes, which can manifest itself in any medium at any time, we must put our act together as a cumulative national punch of air defense of the country. Number two point is that the air defense resources of the country are very finite. We need to optimize them and ensure that the best possible weapon is directed against the enemy threat at any one time. We need to cut out duplicacies. We need to cut out redundancies, and at the same time ensure that this capability is integrated at national level. I call this decision a national level decision simply because if this air defense command is not integrated successfully, it will decide whether the country is able to put together its cumulative air defense capability properly or not. And second point, doability. It is doable. Why it is doable? The resources are manageable, the quantum is finite, and the target is very clear in front of us. That is the reason the CDS chose the Air Defense Command creation as one of his first agendas upon taking over.
You see, sir, integration of Air Defense Command, everybody is speaking about it. Everybody speaks about integration, but I don't think it's very well understood. What must be integrated? I'd request you to throw some light on this, sir. What exactly must be integrated, sir?
Yeah, actually this integration, if I really use the word, it's a paradox. It is a term which is flogged about. Everybody says integration, Air Defense Command, integrate. But very few experts actually know what needs to be integrated. Now for that, we need to visit the basics of air defense. Air defense means air threat drives air defense. All air defenses are meant to counter air threat. Now there was a time in 40s and 50s, when the valiant gunner used to stand on his propeller-driven aircraft and used to direct his guns manually by hit and trial on to the targets on ground. Then around 60s, early 70s, the time came when the first generation aircrafts came, and along with helicopters, they used to throw some unguided bombs and rockets, and it was good enough to either destroy them in the air by interception or deploy some guns around the vulnerabilities and fire at them. Thereafter, the air threat has metamorphosed into something which is 21st century air threat is a force to reckon with. Today, our aircrafts are third to fifth generation. We face a formidable air threat from Pakistan and China. The aircrafts with those countries are from third to fifth generation. They have best of avionics, navigation, and munition. They can strike deep. They can strike with long standoff ranges. They can use precision guided munitions. Some of the latest machines have got the magic of stealth and use capability to use munitions with due dexterity and accuracy. These are joined by attack helicopters, which have the capability to fly nap of the earth, avoid radar detection, and prey on their targets with accuracy and precision. Now, you already must be knowing it, that there is a monster called the Unmanned Aerial System, UAS. UAS, the moment it has come in the battlefield has never been the same actually. It has metamorphosed. Now, whether they are used, initially they started to be used in the IS-STAR mission, intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, reconnaissance. Then came a time when weapons got mounted on them and they became combatized platform. Then we graduated further, and now they are moving along with manned platforms in operations called manned and unmanned teaming, in which the combat intelligence of a pilot is used with the dull, dirty, and dangerous lethality and endurance of the unmanned platforms. And then came the swarm drones, the one of today, in which they can come in hundreds and they can destroy and negate any air defense weapon system. We face the threat of surface-to-surface missile. Pakistan has got missiles from 80 kilometers to 2750 kilometers. China has got surface-to-surface missiles from 700 kilometers to 12,000 plus kilometers. We also face the threat of cruise missiles, low level, avoiding radar detection, hitting with precision and accuracy. Latest trial of China and Pakistan is also an anti-radiation missile, which can take out our sensors whether they are on or switched off. There also are emerging soft kill weapons. Laser is already a reality. High power microwave and charged particle beam are the next. And you must have heard of the Chinese testing now on the hypersonic weapons, both as hypersonic cruise missile as well as hypersonic glide vehicles. Now, this package of air threat which has emerged today in the 21st century is a formidable threat. What it requires three things. First, the threat has to be detected at the longest possible range. It has to be identified as friendly or hostile, and fire must be brought on to them effectively and seamlessly, shifting weapon to weapon. How do we do that? How is this country is doing it? This country is doing it by placing the air combat power in various air bases for interception, number one. Number two, placing the ground-based air defense weapon system, which in our country consists of, in any country, consists of the towed air defense guns like L-70, Zu-23, the self-propelled air defense guns. We should add very short-range air defense missiles, 6 to 7 kilometers, patched up by short-range surface-to-air missiles, 20 to 30 kilometers, and medium-range missiles right up to 70 to 100 kilometers, and long-range missiles more than 100. All these are not deployed just in ad hoc manner. They are deployed properly, graduated to a theater grid, in which they are called layered and tiered defenses. So I talked about the weapons, the way they are deployed. How these weapons can fire? They cannot fire unless and until they are joined together by something which is binding them as a one seal. That is battle management and control system. No air defense weapon systems fire unless and until cleared by the Air Defense Control and Reporting System. Now, what is this Air Defense Control and Reporting System? It is the lifeline of the air defense battle. This lifeline of the air defense battle, what does it do? It has sensors, it has control system, it has data management system. What does it do? It detects a threat at long range. It identifies friendly or hostile. It decides which is the threat which is high priority and coming to me. It also decides which is the best weapon to take it on. It designates the target to that weapon automatically. And thereafter, it manages the battle of air defense minute to minute. Now, this whole thing is called Air Defense Control and Reporting System. In our country, Air Force has got the responsibility, national level responsibility, to carry out air defense of the national airspace. In execution of this responsibility, Air Force has organized a national level air defense control and reporting system called Battle Management and Control and Reporting System. The name which it is known by is IACCS, Integrated Air Command and Control System. What does it do? It connects the complete country's air defense right from top highest level command post right down to command post of the weapon platforms. It cuts across service lines, Air Force, Army, Navy, all across. So the control of this whole thing, which is the Air Defense Control and Reporting System, which is done by the Air Force through Integrated Air Command and Control System, joining with the control systems of the Army, Akash Tir and Navy Trigun, extends right through. It is based on SATCOM. It rides on the wide area network of Air Force Net. Therefore, just to tell you very shortly why the weapons are deployed, they do not fire ad hoc. They are controlled by the Integrated Air Command and Control System. Now, coming to the point of integration, what is to be integrated is this system of Integrated Air Command and Control System, which is a thread from national level right up to the weapon platform, needs to be integrated. And what it is integrating? It is integrating various weapon systems which are the core competencies of services, like the core competency of Army ground-based anti weapon system, both in the rear area as well as the tactical battle area. What is the core competence of the Air Force? Air combat power, fighters, bombers, helicopters, for carrying out the attacks on counter-air operations, offensive air support, air defense, and so on. What is the core competency of the Navy? Air defense of fleet at sea. All this is controlled. The fleet at sea is a exclusive naval responsibility, while the ground-based anti-weapon system, the air combat power, and the air defense of shore-based naval assets is all controlled by one system, which is the Integrated Air Command and Control System. This whole thing combined becomes an integrated air defense system. So now relate the integration to it. Integrate air defense command and control system, integrate the battle management and control system, but keep the core competencies of the individual services as their core competencies to fight the air defense battle at land, sea, and air to counter the enemy's air threat. That is what is integration all about.
So, what do you think could be the overall configuration of the Air Defense Command? Because you see, the Army, Navy, and Air Force are today, as we speak, they have different concepts of air defense. But when you talk about an integrated air defense command, what do you think could be the overall configuration of this? How do you see it?
Yeah, the integrated, as the CDS has already announced and some concept papers have been written. First of all, Air Defense Command is a tri-service command. People try to understand it as a service command, Air Force Command or this command. No. Air Defense Command is an integrated tri-service command. Now, since Air Force is responsible for the air defense of the Indian national airspace, it is very appropriate that Air Defense Command be under an Air Force 3-star C in C, and it should be based on an existing Air Force command, like it is being based. Some details are classified, which I cannot say, but suffice to say it is a tri-service command. The apex is held by the Air Force, and the door below, that is the deputy CNCs, are both from the Army, should be from the Army and from the Navy, because they are also equal partners in execution of the air defense. Where does it report to? Where does it? In my view, which is my own personal professional view, it should be placed under the permanent Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee as exists today. As and when this structure evolves under the CDS, Other things will follow, but today it must be placed under the permanent chair or chairman chiefs of staff committee, and the whole is the tri-service command. That should be the configuration of this command.
Sir, I wanted to ask you a question which our viewers will be interested in. You see, sir, we spoke about the S-400 and we've spoken about Akash and other weapon systems which are being inducted. What do you think other weapon systems, or which are the other weapon systems that you think could be inducted into India? Maybe not a weapon system specifically that you want to mention, but in terms of capabilities, where do you think we lack and how can we sort of fill in the gaps?
If you talk about the capabilities, when you talk of capability in air defense, you must look at the sensors, shooters, and the battle management system. Now come to sensors. Now what are sensors all about? Sensors are the one which either give early warning of the enemy aircraft, number one, or they control the weapons, the missiles, and the guns fire on the target. Now, this early warning system is the part of the integrated air command and control system, which I already brought about. The first thing is that the deficiencies and the voids in this sensor are all to be filled up. This is one capability building which is taking place. I will not be able to tell you the classified details. This is one issue of sensors. Now, coming to shooters. Shooters are in air defense, the air combat power. That is a separate topic and vertical by itself. How the Tejas must come in, how the Tejas Mark 1A must come in, how the current capability of the Air Force must be built from the 30 squadron to 42 up to 50 squadron, which I've already spoken on many forums. How the obsolescence of the aircraft going out, MiG-21, MiG-27 is to be made up. How the Tejas Mark II must come up in the time frame in which it is required is all a story by itself. In the ground-based anti weapon system, the requirement is to get not only sustain our guns, but get more new guns, the successor guns, get the very short-range air defense weapon system as successor to IGLA. Our QR-SAM, which is the short-range missile, is already a success story by Akash, and also QR-SAM coming by BM, by the Bharat Electronics Limited, and the medium-range SAM by Barak is becoming a success. So those are the ones which are on the ground-based anti-weapon system. On the ballistic missile defense system, which is, one is air defense, shooting down the enemy's aircraft, but to counter the enemy's ballistic missile threat is ballistic missile defense. Our program AD of the DRDO is nearly operationalized. I cannot give you the other classified details. Others we have contacted the NASAM Advanced 2 system which will come, and most importantly S-400, which will be a weapon cut above. That's its deliveries are starting from 2021 to 2025. It will take our ballistic missile defense to a totally new level. And as compared to the third thing, battle management and control, very proud to say that whole indigenous system is working. There are some snags in handshake between Army, Navy and Air Force which are being attended to at top priority. So this is the capability scene of the future. But coming to what capability can be integrated in the Air Defense Command is a totally different kettle of fish. For example, the first capability which needs to be integrated under Air Defense Command is the intelligence. Intelligence in the air defense parlance is known as air threat. Today, air threat is being worked out by, what is air threat? A capability of the enemy to cause damage and destruction on our vulnerabilities. Today, there is National Security Secretariat, there is CCS, there are many other agencies which work out air threat. It should become the responsibility of the Air Defense Command to provide the national level air threat perception, which guides all the procurements and everything. Next thing, which should be integrated under the Air Force Command and under the newly formed Air Force Command is capability building. Now you know that the Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020 has come out with, earlier there used to be long-term integrated perspective plan of the headquarter ideas, 15 years. They said no, 15 years is too long a time for a technology to change. Integrated capability development plan of 10 years. Now the integrated capability plan ICDP of 10 years, Air Defense Command is to input what is the air defense capability building, what are our voids, what are our priorities, how do we integrate, how do we procure. The next thing which should be built is budget allocation. Ask for the budget of air defense is the responsibility of Air Defense Command. Sustenance of weapon system, upgradation, life extension, cannibalization, etc. Very important. Training. optimized training, optimal utilization of resources, and cohesive training. And finally, inspection. Unless you inspect, anything not checked, not done is the army cliche, you know. Set out an inspection regime. So all this air threat, capability building, budget, sustenance, training, and nothing to inspection are all the capabilities which need to be integrated under the Air Defense Command.
My last question to you is, sir, we are also speaking about theatre commands, and the CDS has spoken publicly about theatre commands. Now, how does the Air Defense Command, so the ADC, get dovetailed into theatre commands? Now, this is one question which has been, I've been thinking about for a long time. So here is the Air Defense Command and here are the theatre commands. How does it dovetail into it, sir?
Very important and very relevant question. While everybody is talking of theatre command and thinking that this Air Defense Command will be a plug and play, no. You have to understand that air defense resources are very peculiar resources. First of all, talk of air power. Now, air power or air combat power and air defense power is a totally flexible force. Today, there is nothing called air defense aircraft, strike aircraft. Aircrafts are multi-role. They switch roles from one to another. They're air superiority fighters, they're multi-role fighters. And at the same time, people have a concept that ground-based anti-weapon system, you deploy, you forget. Sorry. Air defense weapon systems are very costly, precious system, and they're dynamic in their deployment. So having understood two things, that air capability, air power is flexible, number one. Number two, ground-based anti-weapon system deployment is dynamic. Now come to theatre command. Whenever the theatre command gets established, there will be a separate component called Air Defense Cell. Air Defense Command Cell, ADC cell, call it by any name. It will have a rep of the ADC which will connect the theatre command to the Air Defense Command. What this will do? It will have two types of allocation. One type of allocation is a dedicated resource allocation. In terms of aircrafts, in terms of ground-based anti-weapon systems, some resources are dedicatedly allotted knowing at the vulnerabilities of a particular theatre command. Rest will depend on flexible allotment of air combat power, which is the real game to play as the battle develops, as the priorities develop, as the battlefield throws up new challenges, new options. Air defense weapons will be attached, detached, air power will be attached, detached. Air defense weapon systems will be moved from one vulnerability to another vulnerability. A dynamic game of air defense will play, and also the battle management. Sometime my foreign unit is attached to one type of IACCS, other time it will get to another network. This whole will be a digital play, will be a technology play, and experts of Air Defense Command will plug into Air Defense Theatre Command and provide them a dynamic picture of air defense, a dynamic support of air defense, which is not only just aircraft, it is air combat power, ground-based anti-weapon system, fleet at sea, and air defense of shore-based naval assets.
Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us. It was indeed enlightening. Ladies and gentlemen, with Lieutenant General Dr. V.K. Saxena, he told us about the Air Defense Command, what will be the structure, what are the new weapon systems that are required. A lot of technicalities, a lot of detailing went into his answers. We thank the General for his time. I'll be back again next week with another special guest. Till then, here is the Blitzkrieg team saying Jai Hind.